Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Luana Santos versus Mariya Agapova, or Agapova, as I'll probably say inconsistently. But my pick for this fight is Luana Santos. I trust her more to win this matchup, and I guess I'll go with her winning by submission down the stretch. But without any prop bets or even the over under available right now, my only bet is on Mariya Agapova because I just think they got the odds wrong. She's plus 260, and I can trust that she has an advantage on the feet. And in general, she's the most dangerous fighter in most of her matchups. And I think that's the case here as well. But the reason I'm picking against her is because on the flip side, Mariya Agapova is pretty vulnerable. She's a girl who has faded. Cardio's been responsible for some of her losses, and in general, her ground game has failed her as well. The thing is, she's only been beaten by really good fighters, and inside the UFC or on the Contender Series. She lost by submission in round two to Marina Moroz and to Jillian Robertson. Fucking beasts, especially Jillian on the mat. And she lost by TKO on the mat to Shanna Dobson. That was one where her cardio distinctly failed her. She was doing well early and then kind of collapsed in round two. And then her one decision loss was to Tracy Cortez, who's fighting in the main event of this very card. And Tracy is a beast of a fighter, very good grappler, and not bad at all on the feet. And she just brought a little too much pressure for Mariya. But those are her only losses. And despite her not looking good in some of them, or maybe most of them, they are two excellent fighters. And that's part of the reason why I threw a stab at Mariya Agapova. Her victories are, she has 10 of them, 8 of them are via finish. 3 knockouts or TKOs, 5 submissions, and just 2 decision victories. And we've seen that danger at the UFC level. She got a rare third round finish over Sabina Mazo, got her with a rear naked choke instantly after dropping her. It was one of the most beautiful finishes, and that was impressive. And before that, she got her UFC debut victory over Hannah Cyphers, who uh, kind of fizzled out. Maybe not the best victory, but she still got to look very good doing so. And all of her wins, but 2 of them are by decision, and the 2 decisions take place in the first 5 fights of hers, and the last one is 7 years ago. She's a finisher, and she's very dangerous, and I'd say she's more dangerous than Luana Santos. It's just the vulnerabilities of Mariya Agapova that have me siding with Santos. Santos has a record of 7-1. Her one loss comes to Jenna Bishop, a very good grappler who just lost her first fight a few weeks ago to Tyler Santos in the PFL. But that's her one loss, and again, it's to a very good fighter. Jenna Bishop could beat UFC fighters for sure. And that was a split decision. Jenna definitely won, and she had a lot of good control there. But I have to say that she looked good, Luana Santos, being in bad spots with a much better grappler on top of her. Her 7 wins include 1 TKO or knockout, 3 submissions, and 3 decisions. The one knockout does come over Juliana Miller in her UFC debut. She steamrolled her. Juliana, even though she won the Ultimate Fighter, she wasn't the most refined fighter, still isn't. I don't even know what's going on with her. But regardless, I don't want to harp on what a bad loss that was and what was going on with her. Luana Santos looked really good, and that was a really good victory for her. And her 3 submission wins are a guillotine choke in the fight right before that, right before getting to the UFC. She got a guillotine in the LFA, and she also got 2 scarf hold key locks, Americanas. One against this girl, Beatriz Fajeda, in round 3, and then one in round 1. Both of them, she's able to get side control, high up on the body, and from the scarf hold position, the headlock, she locked up the arm with her legs and got the submission. It may not be the most advanced submission, maybe because you can tie it so closely to a head and arm throw, so it kind of looks basic, but it's a rare submission, and definitely shows she's got something going on there for sure. And I do think Luana Santos should win this fight despite how she looked against Stephanie Egger. Stephanie Egger is a big, not too big, but a big enough judoka where she gave Luana Santos an interesting match on paper. I wish I could say the fight itself was so interesting, but it wasn't. Still, though, in the end, it could have gone Stephanie Egger's way. I didn't like the way Luana Santos looked in the second half of that fight, or really the second two-thirds of that fight, to be honest. And it was a shitty fight, but still, she did her part, and she ended up getting a decision over Stephanie Egger, who may not be a world beater, but she's a very good fighter. So there's not a lot of reason to doubt Luana Santos. Again, her one loss, very close enough fight against a very good grappler and underrated girl, and her one sloppy win was still over Stephanie Egger, who's a beast. So I am trusting her to outlast Mariya Agapova and out grapple her potentially. You know, Mariya Agapova is not limited on the ground at all, but Luana Santos, I would think, would bully her. And I think if things go the way I expect them to, she's on top of Mariya Agapova and scoring a submission victory in the second half of this fight. Now, I'll wait for the props and especially the over under because I'll say I think this fight has a really good chance of ending via finish, regardless of who wins. I should say that for really any Mariya Agapova fight. She's so dangerous and she's pretty vulnerable. So I think a finish is likely, and I'll look to maybe play the over under. I can't say what it's at, what the line is even set at 1.5 rounds or 2.5 rounds, but I think a finish is likely. I'm playing Luana Santos to win by submission. But as of now, with nothing available but just the money line, my only bet is on Mariya Agapova. That's the only thing I've played, and it's because, again, I see an advantage for her on the feet, and of course, with the experience and everything else, and with the way Luana Santos looked in her last fight. So, like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.